Hi boys and girls, welcome back. Today's lesson is going to be all about different types of rocks and how we can classify them. Come on! So as I said, today's lesson really was to explore what's called the rock cycle. And in exploring the rock cycle, we are going to make sure that you understand the three main types of rocks and how they're formed. Now, the three main types of rock that we get are igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. Now, to help us to understand the rock cycle, we are going to use a bit of kitchen science, and we're going to be using Starburst, sweeties. Brilliant. Let's go and get started. As I said, we are going to be exploring the rock cycle. Now, a cycle is something that happens repeatedly over and over again. And the first rock we're going to look at in the rock cycle is igneous rock. Now, as we know, igneous rock are rocks made from magma that has cooled. So the first thing we need to do is put 3 starbursts beside our igneous rock, and that represents the igneous rock in our rock cycle. Now, these igneous rocks go through a process called weathering and erosion. Weather and erode our first igneous rocks, we're going to use the mummy scissors that we have. Now, all we need to do is snip bits off the igneous rock, carefully asking an adult to help you if you need help. So these bits that we've cut off or eroded and weathered from our igneous rocks are known as sediments. So the little pieces of starburst that we've cut off our igneous rock are known as the sediments. Now, what happens with these sediments are they go through 2 processes called compaction and cementation. And what that means is that they are squeezed together in layers. So let's see how we do that now. Obviously, we're going to start warming up our sediments in our hands, and this eventually makes them quite possible to squeeze into layers. Once you've got them in a solid, we can begin to apply proper pressure, and we begin the process of compaction and cementation. Once you begin to build up your layers on the top of these ones, you have made a sedimentary rock. And a sedimentary rock, children, is a rock made from layers of dirt, rocks and shells all pressed together. So the next stage, from our sedimentary rock, it has to go through a different process this time. And we're going to change this rock, our sedimentary rock, and we're going to apply heat and pressure. And what better way to do that? Put it in the microwave. I'll be back in a minute. Rock. You can see how the heat and pressure has changed what it looks like almost completely into this cool rubbery structure, which obviously is hard once it's cooled. But you can see just how much that looks like a metamorphic rock now. The word morph means to change. So metamorphic rock, it has changed into this cool structure, which once it's cool, transforms quite like a metamorphic rock. Now, metamorphic rock are rocks made when heat and pressure change existing rock. So things like marble. So, once the metamorphic rock is ready to change, it goes through a process called melting. Now this takes place deep inside the core of the earth. Let's have a look first at what that might look like. Here we have the earth, and if we were to drill down into the core of the earth, it would get hotter and hotter. Let's have a look just how hot. So, the crust that we live on is the blue layer. As we go further into the earth, we get what's called the mantle, then the outer core, and then the inner core. And we can see just how hot that is by looking at this part of the model. We've got 2,700 degrees Celsius in the mantle. The outer core goes to a massive 3,700 degrees Celsius. And finally, in the inner core of the world that we know, it gets to 4,300 degrees Celsius. Really hot. Now, to turn our metamorphic rock into the process of melting, we're going to put it back into the microwave. At this point, boys and girls, remember to ask someone at home to help you. It gets really hot and I don't want any of you to get hurt. So you must get an adult to help you with this part of the experiment. I'll be back in a moment. The rock returns back to lava and magma. Let's have a look at the rock now. Can you see just how hot it has got? All the bubbles of heat. That is our rock returned to magma and lava. And the cycle then continues again. Let's have a look. The next stage in the cycle is when the rock cools and turns back into igneous rock. And so the cycle begins again. I really hope you've enjoyed exploring the rock cycle with me and the three main types of rocks that we get in the world. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!